committee meeting is called to order. First thing on the agenda, the minutes from July. Any committee people have any thing with the minutes from July? All right, we're good on that. Next item up is the Department of Public Safety. Director McGinnis.
Greetings. How are you?
Greetings.
How are you doing? I get the opportunity to read the report. While I'm here, Hope asked me, and you never get back. We never connected when I got back from New Jersey.
I didn't know you got back.
You need to look at the messages while we on the minutes. I asked you, and you said for what? I responded, what for? You didn't write back.
Yeah.
You got to say report, Chief.
Got the right one?
No, you have a report with any questions, I usually when I read it, I want to ask questions about crime anyway, so, what I do want to do is introduce one of our new employees here. He wasn't able to be here last, meeting. Mr. Xavier Richardson, introduce himself there. He's, going to be starting Police Academy on Monday.
All right.
I mean, the other gentleman that we were last week, he is actually from Indiana via Florida. A very sharp young man. Recommended, looking all puzzled. Terrific guy. So, I don't know if you wanted to kind of say anything.
Can you tell us a little something about yourself, man?
Yeah.
Come up, okay.
We won't buy it. We don't know about it.
And he's as strong as he looks.
What do you want to know?
Name, rank, serial number. Yeah. We'll bring you here.
I'll just start with why I want to be a police officer. I've always wanted to get back to the troubled youth community. That's kind of where I grew up in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I got into some trouble as a younger kid, and I was given some chances, and so I kind of wanted to do the same thing. And I started that kind of fire service, on the fire service side. That's when after high school, I moved up here to Indiana, and then got my fire service. And my last department wasn't the department to, it didn't facilitate that exactly. So Benton Harbor, I got referred to by some great guys, and I'm here now. I'm excited.
Welcome.
Welcome to Benton Harbor. Anybody got any questions they want? And you said you could restart the academy Monday. All right. Good luck, man, and enjoy Kalamazoo.
Thank you.
I just had something I wanted to add and say here. So often we get younger firefighters, public safety officers that don't necessarily know where their role is, and kind of don't show a lot of maturity. And he came in here day one, and the maturity that he has shown, the way he has shown how he understands where he is in the organization and the things he does. No one has to ask him to do it. That has gone a long, long ways with me as a supervisor for the past month. So he'll fit in well.
All right.
Xavier, are you a Detroit Lion fan?
Uh-oh.
Just say yes.
To appease you, yeah.
Yeah, he's all right.
You'll be all right, Xavier. Thank you.
You guys have a good day.
Thank
you. don't really have, if there are any questions on the report, we can ask them or pose them. I really want to report on is we had our 7th, it's been 8 years, it was our 7th annual National Night Out. We had just under, for those who came, we had just under 1,000 people. Gave out about 800 book bags, 700 snow cones. And actually, we didn't even put a whole lot of work in it because we were still recovering from Juneteenth. But for those of you that were there, you saw it was absolutely tremendous. Just in our National Night Out, it's bigger than if you take everyone else in the county and add them all together. It's not even a quarter. I can't even say half what we had. So it was really refreshing seeing our community. As you all know, Benton Harbor is one gigantic family. And although I know you guys were there, just seeing that Benton Harbor spirit just is heartwarming. And it's a little emotional. We had good guys here, seeing the changing face of the department. Next month, you'll meet 2 more. We got a young lady coming in and another gentleman that look like us. So we're very pleased with where we're going, where we are, where we're going. So that being said, I will open up to any questions about my schedule and when we're gonna meet. I can get you afterwards. I can book you afterwards.
I didn't make it to the National Night Out, but I don't know if I'm coming back until you guys have the dunk tank again.
Yeah,
Well,
there were people
we
complaining
had it,
about
but it was freezing. There's no way in the world.
People
It
wanted
was
to
there,
dunk
but it
it.
was too cold. to drive.
Exactly. Yeah, it was too cold for you.
You weren't even there. Yeah, you never even been to one. Have you?
I have,
Ever.
I have, you just never see it.
I wouldn't have showed up, I seen it on, watched it, some of the video on
You're
Facebook.
always there. I'm not even worried about you.
I was on after the event we had with the walk around, and then I get a text from some of the organizers, and one had tested positive for COVID. She did hug me a few times, so I just kind of wanted to stay away from folks until.
That's no problem.
So,
Commissioner, speaking of that, I guess it really wasn't kind of community service. We were so involved with Class of 74, the 5K, and work with that committee was absolutely phenomenal. Mr. John Thomas was tremendous. He came, had effusive praise for us in the city.
John Taylor,
I'm sorry, went very, very, very well. So that again, those are just heartwarming things that happen here in Benton Harbor.
he's asking to be on the, I'll let the clerk know in the mayor, I guess he want to come thank us in September after they get all the data and stuff, and kind of give a little presentation. He also has some total appreciation for all the commissioners and staff too that has participated. Did you go? I thought you were gonna be there to run that 5K.
Ms. Healthy wasn't running 5K?
I don't run, I'm not needing pictures.
It's a walk,
I don't run. I do that fast walking thing, that's a whole thing in the Olympics.
That's walking. Okay. Anything else?
I just had something I wanted to talk about with our training academy. We graduated our 7th recruit academy August 2nd with 14 graduates. That is our 80th graduate. So in 3 years, we did something that we were told by Berrien County would never happen. And we have now graduated 80 firefighters from our fire academy. Additionally, in July, we started this subscription program where departments subscribe to us. And I mentioned it in the packet, but I haven't really talked about it here. And I think I wanted to just mention it real quick. Departments are subscribing to us to get their annual training now. So that we send them every month a training plan, and they do their training based on what's coming out of Benton Harbor. But what's really cool about that is most of the members are from Berrien County, but now we've added Novi, Michigan, which is a large department, 150 member fire department, Dexter, Michigan, Frankenmuth, Michigan. So it's not, and we have some in Indiana as well. So it's not just something that's Benton Harbor, Berrien County. Benton Harbor's getting its name out there, kind of statewide, regionally as well. So, and it's allowing us to, bring some money in to help offset some training costs that we have.
Okay. thank you for that report and the job you guys do. Go ahead.
Thank you. Is there any way, and maybe we can do this offline, but I would love to see, because they're reading the patrol paragraph that says that we have an increase in violent crimes, and that kind of gave me the thought, if we could see historical data, like next to the crime data.
Absolutely.
Where were we last year compared to this year?
And I have all that, and I appreciate that, because I go through the report. We'd be more interested in other ancillary nonsense than actually what's happening in our community. I absolutely can give that to you. I can send it to you. We can do it next month. I do it all the time. I keep that data. That's why we're concerned. So I thought he was telling me shut up. All right.
No, they're all over. They're crawling over. Yeah, I've seen them crawling.
Yes, I'll make sure, again, personally, I can do it next month. We keep that data.
Okay.
Because it's staggering in some cases. Waiting on you. And we are working on strategy. We have a staff meeting next week, Wednesday, outline the strategy internally and what we want to do to start combat, well, not start, but better combat this. We have issues downtown, with issues on the south side, which seems to have stolen recovered vehicles. And that's not successful.
So a follow-up to that would be, what would be your suggestion to residents to help your department solve the crimes? Or even prevent the crimes?
Well, thank you. I'm glad you asked that. I missed you. You
After hours.
Oh, that would be weird.
it's cringe.
Yeah, you beat me to the same question too, you, one question at a time.
So one of the things we're gonna be doing in this is with our social media presence, outlining some things. I've also met with Chief Abrams, who actually has a good program that he has started in Benton Township. We want to kind of be to that. He actually went out and give him some credit, got some money and bought a cache of those wheel locks. But some things we can do immediately that we want to put out again via media, the city Facebook page, our Facebook pages. Things like one, turn your lights on outside on the porch. At this point, I think you spend less for the light bill than having to have your insurance go up because your car is going or damage or broken into. If you have cameras, get cameras if you don't have them. They're not very expensive. If you don't have them, make sure, and we're going to also start to get back pushing our Block Club initiative. We know that neighbors have cameras that don't mind sharing data if they see something in the next door neighbor. Additionally, some things as far as locking your car, or conversely, don't lock your car but have nothing in it. One of the things I've noticed our people do is we'll have in our car a driver's license, our social security card. Do not keep your social security card in your car. Our title to our vehicles right in the car. That's just kind of just some simple public education things not to do, to kind of hand over your identity of the vehicle to car. Cash in the car. We shouldn't be having cash in the car. But
Recent large amounts of cash.
Your credit card, which you passed, with your PIN number on it.
yeah.
Some folks. Yeah.
So I believe it's on social media, so you and Chief Abrams will be doing a radio podcast.
Chapter chief will be back, but be back with both chiefs.
And so you want to tell people that maybe watch when it is, just in case they're not on Facebook or social media.
Well, if they're not, then it's not gonna matter.
They might get on for that. Would you comply?
So chapter chief is, as you know, we've had that here, very successful. There's been a small gap. It's been so busy. So I gotta admit, she got me today. And
I know, I really like that though.
Yeah.
I like that it's both locations as well. And it just happens to be people that look like us, so
Yeah.
that we able to relate. I mean, which is a plus, you know what I mean? But will it be time for anybody to present questions? Or if they wanted to have some questions, could they submit them beforehand? How would that
Right,
work?
so here, there's gonna be a slight change to the format. I'm gonna shorten it just a little bit. It won't be a full hour, maybe about 40 minutes. And what we're gonna do is we'll start out with kind of some coming out of the week, some trends, some stats for our communities, whatever happened maybe in township, whatever happened here, some ways so people are informed, maybe some ways to be able to protect themselves. And of course, it's chat with the chief. So it's always gonna be open time like we did before for them to be able to chat with us. We'll get those questions live and answer them or address them or comments we'll have. We'll still also have guests. It'll be kind of more formatted. And again, we want to make sure that we're not just there kind of pontificating on the radio, but we want to make sure that anything that's appropriate for members to know, maybe you had, there's been, 3 break-ins on Levette as an example, that it happened. Here's where these happened. Here's what you can do. If there's anything that here, if you have anything in your cameras, so people will know, like, oh, shoot, I didn't know that was going on in my area. The whole point of Chat with the Chief, those segments, is to inform our public that they have contact with their chiefs, and 2, to keep themselves better informed and safe in their communities. So that's going to be kind of a huge thing. I know, yes, we'll do that. Again, we'll have guests, which I want to start lining up. I'd love to have actually Mr. Little, first as city manager. We have a great relationship with Kathy Yates, not just myself and Chief Abrams, but the city managers. Everything is great right now in township. And for 25 years, 23 of those years, we didn't get along very well in township and Benton Harbor City. So we're seeing a new spirit over there, new leadership, refreshing. Of course, Greg was my sergeant when I worked on the road. So there's a kindred spirit there. And we are, quite frankly, we are all one Benton Harbor. Township, city, on paper, it's all 49022. So it made sense for us to come together, to work together, because we're all one, we all have the same problem. So they might break in cars here on the south side of our town. You go a couple of streets over, you're the south side of the township, or their east side, I guess, northeast side. So that's what we'll be doing, and it absolutely, we will have our numbers, email addresses, and phone numbers. If people want to follow up afterwards or send in questions before time. It will be every Thursday starting September 5th. 1 o'clock will be live. Only thing you'll see on the flyer says to be determined. That is, I don't know if they have the capacity with their Facebook page or YouTube channel to stream it also. And if they do, can the format we have do both of those at the same time? So when we get the logistics worked out, is when we'll push out the actual where you can go to see it live and afterwards. You're welcome, ma'am. I'm gonna behave myself with you because you are 2 steps ahead of me today, to be honest.
Any other information, more, anything else on public safety? All right, Public Works.
I'd
Oh,
like to make one comment related to public safety. The more we do what we're doing to reduce crime, to put a face on the effort to keep it under control, the better it's going to be for us as a city overall. The plan that I have for trying to rebuild this community by first trying to get 1,000 homes built in the next 60 months, and then hopefully all that we can do from there, is going to include a promotional aspect to Chicago and the South Side, South Bend, places that you're looking at in the news every day that now seem to be having bigger problems with crime and shootings than what we do. I'm betting that there's some people and families in some of these communities that just might want to look at someplace else nearby that's got its share, but not as bad. And I think what they're doing is going to really help us to be in a position to promote it and build that.
I did have one question that somebody asked me about the parking in the parks. How we're progressing on working on that?
I'm making headway.
Yeah, I would agree. Actually, I didn't want to jinx ourselves, but Deputy Director and I drove around this afternoon, like on the north side town, and actually the city is looking, our efforts, we think is healthy because it looks pretty good on the north side. Knock on wood, we couldn't find not one dumping pile, not one tire, grass cut. We didn't find one. No, grass cut, people in compliance. It was wonderful. And so I lost my thought just that quick. Yes, sir.
I just wanted to touch on Maurice Bruce, who's our code investigator, has caught 2 dumpers in the past week in action and has issued tickets. So he's out there, in an unmarked vehicle and has been able to catch these people doing it. And that's how we stop dumping, is you gotta catch it. You can't do it after the fact. You gotta catch it in action. And Maurice has had 2 good ones in this past week.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, today, I think there was an investigation he had on, was it Pearl where it started?
It started on 11th Street. It ended on Pearl.
Yeah, 11th Street. Through his investigation, he made an arrest in the 1400 block of Colfax. The dude confessed to it. So I don't know if the word's getting out that we catching you. It's looking good. Knock on wood.
We got fewer and fewer cars parking in the middle of our parks and so forth. And that's been a big objective to eliminate that, because it's a liability problem for us, number one. And secondly, it abuses what our public parks are about.
Let me get Ms. Kennard, Commissioner Kennard, and then we'll come back to that.
I want to come after
Okay,
your group. And
Go ahead.
I didn't want
Go
public
ahead.
safety to get
Oh,
Go
okay,
ahead.
so I'm, offer to say something. So when I saw the cars, like, it was like 3 of them in Broadway Park. It was funny because I don't know where me and Nick Gunn was going, but, I called 911. I mean, like, what number do you call?
It'll be 983-3060 is a non-emergency number. 983-3060.
I only 3060. I only asked because how quick will they be able to get there, Because I was thinking it was nice if they caught them there. I mean, they were like literally backed up in Broadway Park. No kids with them. Right after, it was before they put all the extra logs there. You said they have the logs now, but it was, they were getting set up, shot.
You about to open up a can of worms, because one of the things we have been constantly fighting is dispatch. There are gaps. When people say, I called the police, it took forever to come, or they didn't show up at all, that's true. So there's one time I personally saw somebody at our station, hit the button. I waited to see how long it would take from the time the woman walked out waiting for the officer to the time it was actually dispatched, 12 minutes. The woman ended up leaving. I couldn't catch her. So to answer your question, I can't say. We have this ongoing problem where they hold calls. It's something that might be, I guess, innocuous to them. But if we get there, we can make a difference. But can of worms that, yes, sir.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Dispatch is a county.
We have central dispatch, so everyone is beholden to them,
Which was a bad idea
which was a bad idea.
for us. It don't work for us. Yeah. Back then, I told them they did it, but now we're seeing what's going on, and just, I know one incident where a lady called a report. I had her on the phone, she dialed, with the 2-way thing, whatever they do it, called dispatch to report a dumping, and the dispatcher said, where is he? And she gave that address of, Summit, I think, over here. And the dispatcher says, I thought you guys allowed them to do that in Ben Harbor. No. And it's that type of, I guess, mentality that the central dispatch has of right in Ben Harbor, it's awful.
I remember one particular incident, and these numbers sticking on my mind, where a woman called, she was irate when we got there. She had called like about 22 minutes prior. When we got the call, we were there, because we actually have pretty good records. We were there in a minute, 26 seconds. Officer steps out the car and she's going in on him. Like, I called you half an hour ago, you didn't come here. Like, man, I literally just got the call, I was around the corner. Those are the types of things that we deal with, and it makes Ben Harbor look bad. It's not, Ben Township would tell you the same thing.
Ms. Kennard.
Yes. And speaking reference to what, was just spoken about, Clyde Collins had 2 shots in his window. He wasn't at home at the time, but somebody shot into his window. His next door neighbor, I think, told him, white, some type of vehicle. Guy got out and just shot in the window twice. And he had tried to make a report, he's called, and he came down once. This is what I'm told. I wasn't with him, but this is what I was told, that he had tried to make that report. He finally did talk to, Henderson, what's his name, young Henderson. And, they just wrote down something, but, you know, it had been over a week when he did finally flag him down and then talk to him. So that's why I'm saying, you know, maybe some people are short patient, but when it comes to a span of a week or two, that's a long time to make, or to write up a report. And then I've had several people say that they call in and they don't get, a spontaneous. And when it's an emergency, you have to respond quickly because you don't know how severe it is. One other thing I want to mention, we have a safety issue there at, between Pearl and Broadway there at the garden. I noticed a lot of the trees have been removed because they're putting in curbs and sidewalks. Well, they're right at the garden. This is why I wanted to make sure that I get here, so it'll be publicly known that I've made the report. I talked to the mayor about it. So I don't know whether he talked to Ammermont, but I know they're the ones that I guess supposed to keep track of what's going on with the work that's being done. And there's a tree that is there. And my background is horticulture, and I know the sidewalk was kicked up because that tree was there. They got to put a new sidewalk in. And they cut the root off that was leading under that sidewalk that had it cut. But the tree is yet there. And anyone know that a tree holds its balance during the winter winds and everything through its root system. So if that is cut off, I mean, bigger than your arm, it's going under, you can see where they cut it off so that they could put the sidewalk in. But what's gonna hold that tree in place? If the winds get it, if it falls, kills somebody, hurt, that's a lawsuit. So I did ask the men about it. I said, what are you all gonna do with that tree root that's been cut off, which helps to balance that tree in the wind? Now that's cut off, so that wind pushing against that side is gonna topple that tree. Over a period of time, other roots have been taken away also in the other part of the perimeter. So now, I'm making a public report that that's a public safety, and if someone should get hurt or their property damaged with that tree falling, and it's right next to a telegram post, I don't know whether that's why they took second guess of taking it down, but it in the telegram post is like this, hugging each other. So that's a public issue there. That's why I said this is the place for me to bring it to your attention. Here, am I right or wrong? Tell me if I'm right or wrong. This is an issue that I'm supposed to bring to public safety because it's in the public path there.
Right.
So I'm not out of order to.
Right, can you let us, yeah, what,
The property owner for the tree, they done took all the trees down along there.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm saying, what owns the property is responsible. So the city property, yeah, that's public safety, but it's the property owner.
No, it's on the tree lawn. It's the tree lawn that it kicked it up. And they've taken down all the other trees on the tree lawn down that street.
well, can somebody just take a look at it, find out what's he talking about, and make a recommendation? Okay,
I took a picture of it so that I can have proof of what I'm talking about.
okay, is it,
Right in front of the garden.
Right in front of the garden,
Yeah.
yes.
take a look at it and see what, make a recommendation?
And what I'm thinking, they said, wasn't it the residents' job to take the tree down?
Or once he
They
look,
they didn't bother about
Yeah.
consulting anybody about taking all the other
Yeah.
trees off the tree lawn.
or once you look at
Why
it,
should it be this?
yeah, once you look at it, it'll make a recommendation there, okay? Public Works,
Well, I have no good report. We just having a few issues with garbage trucks, keeping garbage trucks running. We got one down right now. You have to bear with. People been calling complaining about the leaves and stuff not getting picked up. I had one rear load that is down, and it's kind of hard for that one truck to make it through the whole city at one time through the weekend, through the Fridays. So other than that, everything is going, but I just need to update some of these garbage trucks. And then too, as a team, Mr. Little knows that we got to get in control on how much trash that the city is going to pick up every week for everybody residents.
Okay. Mr. Little, you got anything to add on how Public Works?
Certainly to add to that, while we pick it up, it simply needs to be paid for. It's become an additional liability for the city in that every cubic yard of trash we take up to the dump, we get charged for it, plus surcharges. But we've had a stagnant system of charges to the residents and so forth that probably is paying for about half of the costs that we actually incur. So once again, general fund is footing the bill on a lot of this. I began working on an ordinance revision a few weeks ago, and the city attorney has it right now and should be getting it back to me very shortly, because the existing ordinance has so many pieces in it that need to be adjusted as we do this. So we do expect to be bringing a revision very shortly on this. And we're going to start looking through all of the ordinances for deficiencies and weaknesses and things that need to be improved.
Okay.
Yeah, just for public safety, for clarity, the lid have to be down on the garbage. I know I see some,
Well, to be before it to be closed.
it needs to be closed, the lid.
But we have a lot of people that just, when they put trash out, they just whatever it is, you know.
Yeah.
And some of them don't even go pick the trash can up after we dump. They stay out on the street, so.
So you just pick it up anyway, so we get.
Oh, yeah, we pick them up, because we're using rear loader and an arm truck right now.
Okay.
Mostly I use 2 rear loaders because most of the residents in here have big TV boxes, they have all this furniture, somebody's putting out the furniture. So it's hard not to send an arm truck out by itself and pick up, because you're gonna always have to go back and get the other stuff. So I send 2 rear loaders out and we just get the stuff as we're going. But as the same token, I'm picking up more than we should be picking up.
Yeah. Gotcha.
It seemed like that we just gotta, the fee structure, I mean, because the 17 something a month go for the can, the container, you know, and sure, and I know in the township, when you got extra stuff, you pay extra, you know, and they bill you, you know, when you get your bill, it's a spot on there that says extra rubbish, and they got that fee on there. I think we just gotta figure out how to bill, 'cause a lot of people are looking, they don't mind paying, they just gotta be billed for it, you know. They know they have to pay for extra stuff, you know. Gotta figure out a way to do that, you know, maybe take a look at their, how they do it and tweak it for us. So, you know. Anybody? It's good.
Yes, I've never heard so much of the disturbance about picking up trash as I do now. Now, I know that prices and everything has gone up. We don't have even a finance director to direct the spending of what you budget, from your budget, to budget out what goes on for the complete year. These are some of the things that should be in place. And then another thing, to have the top closed and this and that and all, and you're already, we're just starting out with the budget for this year. There's already a complaint about the trash. our regular trash. Our trash can is never overfilled, but some people got a family. I'm just one person. And so I'm just looking at this thing. When I look around, there's always a complaint about the residents. We're the poorest of the community and we get the hardest kick about everything. So I'm just trying to figure this out. We got to even be concerned in the future for the sidewalks, put in the sidewalks. We got to,
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
just get out there and do any and everything ourselves to keep it up.
Chief,
So we have been, actually, all of us, work on that very process. We need to work with a process so that we can process these things. But what Mr. Meeks, his problem is, he'll go to pick up the can, and there's a sofa, a love seat, a mattress. And we're working on putting a system in place where he can put the tag on there, put it into the system, so now we know that we should be expecting, 554 Columbus, for example, to come and pay the extra fee for that. And additionally, we're gonna ask for next month, legislative, 4 fee structures that we've been working on to include these 2. But what we're missing is process. Couple things we need to put in place and have a dedicated person that can fill these, because he basically needs, kind of like we have in dispatch, he's the eyes on the street. We need to have that be able to be processed. There's a breakdown of the process. So we're working on putting that in place, making sure that when he comes across these, that it does get addressed. And again, we can't expect us to just pick up mattresses and love seats and piles of trash for free.
can't do it. Can't do it for free.
That's not what I'm talking about. I know that extra
Yeah.
couches and things like that, but they are offset even about the trash that people throw in their head and all this. Or if they put a bag on top.
But I don't think that's a big issue. It's the all
And then
that,
it's costing more
no,
for them to dump the trash,
yeah, it's
things
just
like
What
that.
we're saying is we need the lid to be faced forward.
face
So
forward.
when the arm dumps it,
Yeah.
it opens up.
Yeah, that-
People put it sometimes backwards, and that's when you see the trash cans with the lid broken off, because they put it on backwards. We're not saying we want to pick up trash, we're saying, let's do it the way it's supposed to be done.
Right, yeah. So I think it's more so an education piece too, to say, hey, look, get this,
And one other thing, Roger Henry used to do it by himself.
sure
Whole
did,
city.
with the arm.
With the arm.
And he didn't pick up no couches and
And he
stuff.
didn't have a problem doing it.
Yeah, but he didn't pick up all them couches and stuff.
No, I know that.
Yeah, he
But
had
I'm
that
just
arm.
saying, it shouldn't be such an issue about, even if there's an extra trash on top of
No,
it.
if it'll go in with that arm and lift up and dump in that truck,
They didn't buy any trucks with the arm.
he had the truck.
He had the truck with the arm.
And we got one too.
Okay, I have a
Mr.
Back to that situation with Mr. Henry, it was always a truck out about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, going to pick up the big items that he had that before he got there. It was another truck that always ran, nobody never saw it.
Yeah.
It was there between 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning, picking up the big couches and all that stuff before he get there. Yeah, he picked up a TV box, he picked up the extra stuff was sitting on the side. But if they was doing that right now, for the capacity of trash that's getting picked up now and much of stuff that went up, we wouldn't have a contract no more anyway. They'd have went up on a contract a lot longer.
Yeah.
Way back. I mean, because they had these fuel surcharges, they charging $32 a ton for the charge. Every time one of them trucks when it goes to the dump every day, it's between $1,500 to $2,000 every day. Them trucks go dump, and that's 20 days, 20 days, 25 days out of the month that we paying $2,000.
But isn't there a decline in our residents here in the city of West?
Say again?
A decline. It's not as many people as it was even back there. Because a lot of them have left the city.
Yeah, you're probably right about that, but I don't know about the trash, because the trash is still coming out.
Mr. Chairman, if I might,
Go,
Okay, we
to
will.
address some of the other issues that the commissioner raised. First off, if you have a finance director, the finance director neither controls nor prepares the budget. The budget is the city manager's budget. And when the commission approves it, the finance director simply collects the revenues and processes the checks. They don't tell you what you can spend, what you can't spend. That's my job. Now, the problem we have, and we really all need to understand this, I keep saying over and over again, city government is just like any other business. It's got a light bill, it's got gas bills, it's got truck bills, gasoline, oil, repairs, everything that any business would have. And unfortunately, what has happened here, this city for many years has run not like a business. We get an expense, we pay it. We don't necessarily relate that to any activity that comes in. We all know that the backbone of revenues in city government generally is property taxes, but there are also service fees. Now, I remember back in the 80s, at one point when I started adjusting service fees and somebody went to court over it, and the court says, look, you can adjust your fees, but the only thing is you show a relationship between what you're charging and what it costs. And we did just that. In fact, we had a study done of all of our fees, and all of them were deficient. That's still the case. There's no comparison in terms of what trash is costing us and what we're getting from trash. That's the case with a lot of different things. And all we're doing is looking at these realistically, and where it's appropriate, passing those costs on to the people that are generating the stuff that costs. In this case, refuse. The same should apply. I mean, we keep going back and forth about the business of trees and the tree line. Whoever owns the property. And first off, I'll start by saying, yes, the city has a right to come in there and cut a tree down that's in the tree line if it wants to, or it needs to. But if it doesn't, and there are problems and the tree is there, that's the responsibility of the owner of that property. If limbs are dying and falling, the property owner is supposed to have those limbs trimmed. If the tree goes dead, it's a property owner that's supposed to have that tree removed. Once again, for many years, we have tried to be everything to everybody. Somebody calls, my tree is falling down. We run out and try to take care of it, even though we don't have the funds to do it. Same thing with just about anything. I mean, you go all through town, you look at chain link fences, everybody's got one. The post where you drive into it, somebody's hit it, it's bent over, and nobody ever tries to straighten it up or whatever. I even tried to see if I could get HUD to approve a program where we could go and contract to have somebody come and straighten all them fences up. They said, no dice, you can't do it. But generally, that's what our problem is we have got to begin to align the services that we provide with the cost for providing those services and make sure that we got revenue coming in line with what our costs are.
all right, we're gonna move on to new business.
But with the sidewalk being removed, I didn't approve of the sidewalk being removed, the roof cut from this street. I want to know the responsibility. If I own that property, but I didn't take what's gonna happen eventually with that tree, is it my responsibility to go and fix it? Because they need to bring that sidewalk in, they cut the tree root. And then there's a telegram post there too, so maybe that's a factor too. So look, I want some clarity of that.
Let me help if I can with that. The right of way for streets is usually 66 foot wide. 33 feet on each side of the center line of the street, which goes into the average person's just on the other side of their sidewalk. The city has control of that, even though it's a property owner's responsibility. That's for the street in front of the house and in the back of the house with the alley. The overgrowth and stuff that's growing into the alley, even though we look at that as being the city's alley, that's there for the convenience of the people that use it, live up and down it. The ordinances say that it's a property owner's responsibility to keep that alley clean, to control the vegetation that's growing out in it and preventing people from doing it. And in terms of that sidewalk up front, the city essentially has an easement that goes from that 33 feet from the center line. If the city needs to do something to that sidewalk, it doesn't have to ask your permission to do it. It's a city sidewalk, even though you're responsible for maintaining it. The same is the case with the tree lawn. Your responsibility to keep it cut and trimmed and so forth. But the city has an easement on it where if it needs to get in there to replace a utility line or to do anything else on it, it doesn't have to get anybody's permission. It just does it. All right? But still, if there's a problem, like a tree problem or whatever, or the sidewalk, that's the property owner's responsibility to maintain it.
Falls and injures someone.
Your insurance company will get the first
They
call.
told me, they always ask me where the tree set. And they said they're not responsible.
All right, well, that's some, the best way you can kind of explain it. And you know, Commissioner Henry hadn't had the opportunity to speak.
I have to go back to this human infrastructure. That's a human infrastructure problem right there. Aaron March now gonna create a problem, and it just because that's the city's easement, and the city ain't gonna do nothing about it. There's a citizen, a commissioner, that's asking for some relief. They gonna jeopardize a tree. Who cuts the tree and kills the tree? Amber March is wrong for doing that. And the city is wrong for letting Amber March do it and telling her it's her responsibility when the tree falls. Come on.
I didn't get that from what he was saying. I thought.
I'm talking about what I heard him say. And
Well,
what,
they said they were gonna look into
Right.
it, but then as she just asked for clarity, he just was giving clarity in regards to responsibility it is, but when she asked about it initially, I thought said they were gonna look into it.
Make a
because I was gonna
recommendation,
ask up about it. I was gonna follow up about it too. So I think it was just more of when you ask for further clarity as to whose responsibility is. He's saying that is the case ordinarily, but they didn't create this problem. They're gonna contact Albert March and I'll ask about it with you.
Yeah, because I did ask the guys that was out there working, said they was instructed not to take it down. They know it's a problem, but they were instructed not to take it down.
So we're gonna
And
ask
telegram posts is like this here, maybe something that, electrical and it got to solve about that tree. But I have children in that garden during the year.
Right.
And if that tree falls and injures them, that's a great liability. And I see that I didn't have it cut. I didn't recommend for that to be cut. Emma March cut that. So I want to know, I see it's going to be a problem. Anybody look at it to see? Because they got to put the sidewalk in. That's what they had the sidewalk propped up.
Okay, you go check it when you make your recommendation, I guess. They'll go from there. Okay.
And I would say this too, which I was hoping Albert March was here today, because sometimes the Albert March people are rude. I could not figure out how to get around, and so one guy was trying to answer me over like by Monroe, because I was going to my sister's house on Monroe. I'm trying to ask, well, I don't want to go down and come back around. I'm like, when will I get out? He was like, just go, and that's reminded me of that, and I planned on asking him about that, like, who do you report people to? Who do you ask them their names? Because every time you come up, it's like it's a different cutoff. So I have had a problem myself with that, and, you know, Almarch is usually here, and unfortunately, he's not today, but I want to know, you know, if we want to complain about their, you know, their energy, for lack of a better word, because they seem irritated, but sir, it's not a sign telling me where to go. I don't wanna go up and have to come back down, and can I get some help? And it's ironic because of the black guy trying to answer me, but that's a sidebar, but I have complaints
But
too
if they
sometimes,
better to
so I
resolve
will,
this before they put in the curb and the walk and everything,
but I'm
it's
gonna
gonna be cheaper than to go back later.
Yeah, we're gonna,
yeah, we're gonna move on, but they were
New-
really.
and
Never mind.
under new business, we have a resolution to accept, land from the Michigan Department of Natural Resources. Mr. Manager.
Yes, sir. What this is about, as you know, the Ox Creek project is attempting to get control of easements and property all along the banks of the creek, through the area that we're attempting to clear and redevelop as basically a linear park. There are a couple of parcels that, in the middle of this project, that were still owned by the State Department of Natural Resources. And it was about to go up for auction. We specifically asked them to donate their property to the city as a part of our project, as opposed to selling it and possibly creating a problem for us later on. They have agreed to do that. I believe there's probably about $300 in fees that we have to pay to complete all the stuff necessary to do it. But these parcels are important to us for this project, and we'd like the city to go ahead and pass a resolution to accept it.
Questions?
You said they were in Ox Creek?
Yes, along the boundaries of the Ox Creek Valley in that project. One of them comes up to, I believe it's Ross Street or something there, and runs back down through there.
Question, Commissioner?
I guess, City Manager, so this is very essential for the Ox Creek project to move forward.
Yes.
I'm sure that's the financial impact, $300, I'm sure you'll get the job done.
Absolutely, sir.
And if it end up going to, if we didn't get it, end up going to auction, it'd be a bigger impact trying to buy it from some private person. Yeah. Mhm. Any questions?
And I understand it's two parcels,
There are two parcels.
and one is up from Ox Creek up the hill.
One comes up the hill and runs all the way back down, and one is already in the middle of the area.
And it's both connected to each other.
They're not really connected to each other. They're within the same area, but not connected to each other.
Is there any way that we can see what you're talking about?
Yes, there is. I don't think we've got that in here, but I can send it to you.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
I can pull it up.
Okay. Consensus to move that on?
Yes.
Yes.
So that forward.
Yep. If you want.
Pull it up.
Just gonna pull it up for you too,
Oh,
Commissioner.
great, thank you.
Maybe not, because this does not want to connect to this for some
Yeah,
reason.
we had a problem with it
We had a problem with it connecting last
yesterday,
time.
yeah.
I'll try it this way.
Let me fake.
Yeah. Had a problem yesterday trying to pull it up.
Yeah, they had a hard in the last meeting.
I'll have to call him.
Yeah.
Because I don't know why it's not
Can
displaying.
you, if you get it, can you just send it in our packets with us, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Alright.
it is Ross Street,
Mhm.
297 Ross Street.
Next item on the agenda, resolution authorizing the interim city manager to enter into lease agreement with ARP Global Holdings LLC, 88 West Main Street, to 115 Water Street, Mr. Manager.
Yes, sir. After the discussion at last week's meeting, and did follow up as was suggested, instructed to talk with the owner about this, explain to him the discussion that took place with concerns were, and he basically responded that, you know, he couldn't just give the property away, but it wasn't about the money. He was trying to be helpful to the city. And in fact, as I said, the $100 that went in there originally came from me. He responded to what I asked him. And I indicated to him that it was a general feeling that, you know, if it was being helpful, why $100? And he said, look, I'll do it for $1 a year if that would solve the problem. He says, and I've already indicated I'm willing to pay the taxes and whatnot. He says, I am trying to be helpful to the city. So I, after that, had a discussion with the mayor, and the mayor says, I understand. And when he asked a question again about the taxes and indicated that he had said he would pay the taxes. Mayor said, go ahead and go forward with that. And I think that's in our best interest. The timing is important too. I want to remind you that last year about this time, we were having a discussion about it, and it went just a little bit too long. And that 28 days that's required for that concrete to cure became a problem, because when the weather starts to change, you can't let the concrete out. So if we go ahead and do this, we can get that put together, get it done, and complete this project and get it done this year yet.
Any other committee?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. First of all, I want to thank the city manager for working this deal out with the owner of that property. I asked the clerk, could she, does that work?
Oh, no, I can't get it on the
Can't
screen.
get it up? Anyway, I know it's like a 15 by 12 slab, right? That they'll pour. I think it's a good old,
I don't recall specific measurements.
it's something like that. And it'll be facing, so I got photographs of it right here. How it look, you know, how the thing gonna look. It's pretty, I think it's in a good location, traffic. People can use for the whole city to use.
Absolutely.
To exercise, you know, health is important. And I guess we can get that land to, the time is now to get
Absolutely.
it, for that cement to get it time to get all the equipment put in place.
There it is.
Could you pull that location up?
She said she can't get it.
The location? The location right there.
That little triangle. Yeah.
They got a mural.
I mean, I can't put it on the screen.
Yeah.
I can't get the screen to connect.
If you at Pipestone and Main, it's that open area that you can see and look down into a parking lot that's behind Abbey Mark. Yeah.
Okay,
That's open, yeah.
And it'll be facing upward toward Main Street.
Yeah.
And accessible from Main or Water Street right around the corner, and directly diagonally across from City Center Park.
Everybody can, it's open to the public.
I'm joking.
Oh, Commissioner Connect.
they'll just have to come back before the full body.
It's going before the full body.
But the one thing that was the problem, it wasn't the location of anything else, but it was the insurance, what I heard,
Mhm.
that was gonna be
That was
the
not
amount
the
of
problem.
insurance.
That was not the problem. Anything that the city has it comes under the general liability policy of the city.
Right.
No matter what it is, if the city operates, it comes under that
Because
insurance.
when I heard that something said $100,000 about something,
No 100,000. No. Nothing. What's it about 100,000? You talking about for insurance or what you talking about for the property?
no, it wasn't
What
for
the
the property, it was about the
$100,000
insurance.
It wasn't about insurance. What the $100,000 was 50,000 donated to this project from Whirlpool. 50,000 donated to this project from,
Priority.
Corwell.
Corwell. Okay.
Rancor.
Mhm. So there's no, okay.
I'm sorry, I missed that. Is it any out of pocket expense for the city?
Any financial impact on the city, Mr. Manager?
If there is, it would be a very small amount associated with the final assembly on that. We still have some money left from what was donated that will. And one contractor has indicated that if we buy the concrete, they'll do the work free. But whether they do or not, whatever, that's the most exposure we had is just cleanup stuff.
So you could be 10,000 or more.
Could be maybe up to 10,000, and then it may not be any at all.
You see, there is, some funds left from the,
Yes.
yeah.
I think it was $30,000.
Well, to the chair, if there's any out-of-pocket expense for the general fund,
Mhm.
will you please make sure that we're notified?
Okay.
Be glad to do that.
Consensus to move that forward?
Census to move that forward.
Consensus,
Aye.
Madam Clerk. All right. Any public comment? Mr. Duncan,
Yeah, I would like to, won't.
okay.
You guys know what I want to talk about though. I'm gonna leave that up to you guys to talk to your friend and keep him out of my life.
Mhm.
You can't speak to me, you can't speak to nobody in my family. You guys know, I wanted to say why public safety was here because it's their concern.
Mhm.
But I'm trying to be an upstanding citizen. You guys solve that problem for me. I don't want no conversation. I never talked to this guy before anyway.
Mm.
But you know the story. Do something about it for me and my family, public safety wise.
Anything else?
One more subject that I'd like to bring up. At one time, the commission talked about the liquor license that were issued to people in the city, and we didn't authorize it. We kind of pushed the public safety to go and kind of push back from those kind of practice.
Mhm.
And I would like to know what happened, where we are on that project, because I got news from the state that the city did write some recommendation, and I would like to see what that recommendation was.
Mhm. Mr. Manager, could you?
I have no knowledge whatsoever, and no communication with.
The city manager, interim city manager, is over police department and inspection. So if he doesn't know, I'm asking you through the chair for him to find out and get it back to us in a speedy way, because I want to know what we're saying to the state and what the state is saying to us.
Can you?
I will be glad to follow up on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jeff, something?
No.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Meeting adjourned.
You want your little colorful paper bag? We going to